what the problem is, it's me. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play a roulette with each step, I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bet. Cause we know where we at, we know we top tier. Cause all the hate that you bring, we know it stops here. I'm taking off like a rocketeer and stopping here.
Music licensing reimagined.
We gon' always win. Promise that that's not a promise, yeah, that is a threat. You know that I promise to bring the team commas. When the whole team win, that's when you flex. Win, and I'ma do it again. Watch me win, then watch me do it again. Tell 'em I can't take no loss. My team hold no L's, no. Aiming for the top, can't make it by myself. I ain't taking no loss. I ain't taking no loss. Look, come on, always win. I ain't taking no loss. Look, come on, always win. We already know that we the coldest. Watch me heat it up, let me focus. I'm going toe to toe with foes. I know they notice. I kick in doors, they only hope for closing. Why? Cause they know I go again. And when they in the drought, I'm the one that can make it flow again. Talk to me nice, my team they ready to go again.
Music licensing reimagined.
We don't talk, better know the grind gon' match my walk. I'm a cheat code, I don't take no loss. Making no sense, run up the scope. Cause all I do is win, and I'ma do it again. Watch me win, then watch me do it again. Tell 'em I can't take no loss. My team hold no L's, no. Aiming for the top, can't make it by myself. I ain't taking no loss. I ain't taking no loss. Look,
Artlist.io.
I ain't taking no loss. Look, come on, always win. I'm winning again and again, and it's all on repeat. I'ma just sit at the top 'cause I'm running it, dog. On me, I don't know defeat. Had to get back on the phone. I told them don't play with my name 'cause I know that it rings. They want my spot at the top with the crown.
Music licensing reimagined.
Good evening. Welcome in to Sports Chat with Mr. 33. I am he, Mr. 33, live and in effect from the Channel 9 studio. First and foremost, I would like to apologize for my sudden disappearance. I know I was supposed to came on yesterday with the normal weekly Wrestling Friday segment, but unforeseen circumstances came up, and I didn't even give my peoples a chance to get an explanation. So I truly apologize for not even giving y'all that explanation yesterday. So I am here today to recap that as well. But there's other events going on as of right now, right? So I'm also watching the NCAA Final Four. Duke is up 64-59 against Houston. They're both number one seeds in the tournament. And there's a minute and 26 seconds to go in the second half. The winner of this game will be playing in the championship game Monday. So this is crucial. And Duke has possession at the free throw line with the consensus player of the year in Cooper Flag shooting the free throws. He just made one. Yes, but as I'm watching this, I'll quickly go back and summarize what happened yesterday. What an amazing SmackDown. See, this is what I'll be talking about, how I watch SmackDown and why I think SmackDown is the better brand than Raw, right? It's not even about the the key players. We know that Roman Reigns and Seth and CM Punk was on there last night. It's not just about them, right? It just seems like things is a little bit more competitive and authentic on this side of the WWE, right? So, all right. So let's just go back to it, right? They started off yesterday's show with CM Punk coming down. They're in Chicago. So CM Punk comes down there, he want to shout out to the hometown, shout out the wife, and everybody going crazy. They love his dog. They chanting for the dog. He's in his hometown, so he's feeling himself. He main event in WrestleMania. He going out there to conversate. Then you got Paul Heyman come down there and say, "Yo, listen, man, I need to know what the secret is." And he's like, "All right, I'm gonna let you know what it is." Because we presuming Roman Reigns gonna be there later on in the show, and we was right. So I guess Paul Heyman wanted to know what it was before it even got out there. So he ain't say nothing about that then. So he bows out the ring. Uh, right. He tells him pretty much. I'm telling everybody later on. You find out when he find out, and that segment is over. But the crowd was feeling it because he was there, right? So the first match was Ray Phoenix. Now Ray Phoenix was being talked about for a little bit of time. His first appearance in WWE, and they brought up. Well, they had his opponent was Nathan Frazier. Now let me just say this: Nathan Frazier is somebody from NXT. Uh, if you don't watch NXT, you don't really know who he is. I watch NXT and I caught a couple of glances of his matches, and you know the young man got some things right. So they put him in the ring with Ray Phoenix. I'm thinking Ray Phoenix is just gonna do what he do. But this was actually a match, right? And I'm saying this was a match because it reminded you of the old lucha, the cruiserweights of Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero when he was light and Juventud Guerrero and all of those guys. If y'all don't know who I'm talking about, I apologize. I'm showing my age. But these guys was in the ropes. They was very active, mobile, whatever they was like. It's like a bunch of little brawn breakers up the top rope and doing extra flips and things like that. But this was a great match. This was Ray Phoenix's first match, and Nathan Frazier actually made a name because Nathan Frazier was actually doing some things to make it look like he had a shot to win the match, right? But in the end, uh, you had Ray Phoenix doing some a little bit more. He's a little more agile than Frazier, beating them to certain moves and punches, right? And then his move is a Mexican muscle buster. It's something like a Coco Beware suplex what you- the brain buster. That's what it used to be called, the brain buster, right? But he hits that and then he pins Frazier. But I think that was a hell of a match for me because, like I said, when I watch Nathan Frazier and you look at NXT, you think Nathan Frazier belongs in the main card, the WWE. But Ray Phoenix wins the match, and he's excited. He's cheering. I'm in the WWE. I'm gonna be here for a while. Okay, cool. But that was a surprising match for me, right? And I truly enjoyed it. I'm like, look at these dudes. These dudes is just flipping and hurricane riders all over the place, and leapfrogs and all of these things. It was a great way to start the actual the segment, the matches of the night, right? But Ray Phoenix get the win and he's excited. We can live with that. That's cool. So then we got LA Knight. The second match was LA Knight and Tama Tonga. Mr. Yeah, 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 yeah. Right. This match, I mean, I'm glad the first match occurred because if this was the opening match, I don't think I would have rocked with it, right? But you know, LA Knight, he takes advantage of it. He starts to beat up Tama Tonga. Solo Sikoa tries to help. Uh, not help. He gets distracted. Tama gets a little bit of momentum. Then LA Knight ends up stealing the show. He stops the momentum. He quickly gets the momentum back, and he pins Tama Tonga, and getting up out of the ring. So you know, LA Knight with I don't know if it was a US belt, but if he was, he retained because he wins, right? Uh then you had him and Braun talking about some things in the back, as if, because Braun Strowman has a match later on in the night with Jacob Fatu, last man standing. That's for the US belt. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Then the next match was DIY versus the Motor City Machine Guns. For the belt, like number one contender. Uh, they fought well. They went back and forth. Somebody takes the turnbuckle off, and DIY, what's his name? Ciampa, he hits his head on the belt on the missing turnbuckle. Motor City Machine Gun pins him, gets the win. Right? So, but before that match, let me just say, I don't know what's going on with yeah. Well, we know in the YouTube world, people be throwing subliminals. That's what they're called, right? So, like right before that DIY Motor City Machine Gun match, we had Tiffany and Charlotte in the ring, and Tiffany Tiffany threw the craziest shot in the world. She said, "Yo, you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna leave with a loss, right? It's like I'm paraphrasing. She like, what is it? It's gonna be like your marriages. You're gonna leave with a loss. What are you, 0-3?" And they like, oh, and then she rolled up out of the ring. And so Charlotte was like, "Yo, wait a minute. Is that why Ludwig Kaiser is in my DMs?" Now, if y'all don't know, Ludwig Kaiser and Tiffany, they date and they're dating in real life. And we know that Charlotte was married to was it Andrade? I believe it was Andrade. Yes, Andrade. And they got a divorce recently. Well, maybe a year ago, somewhere around there. So they was in there throwing subliminals at each other, pretty much saying, "I'm gonna beat you." Tiffany said, "I'm gonna beat you and leave you like the rest of the dudes and left you like without a victory. You can't win." And that was crazy, right? But we're gonna talk about the subliminals a little bit later as well. I just found that interesting. They were really throwing jabs at their personal lives. One had a divorce, and the other one, you know, trying to say that's why your man in my DM. Petty girl fight, right? But anyway, so then we have the next match was B-Fab versus Naomi. So B-Fab comes out, then Naomi comes out and start walking to the ring, and she gets clothesline from behind, and it was Jade. Jade came out there and tried to punish her early. Okay, so she pretty much beat her till Naomi got into the ring, or she chased her to the ring after the clothesline, whatever. So then they get in the ring. B fast. She started out fast because Naomi got beat up, and then once Naomi got back into the match, uh, she took care of B-Fab, hit her with her finishing move, and as soon as Naomi gets the 3 count, she grabs the mic and say, "Yo, Jay, where you at? Where you at?" Uh, she said, "Where you at?" Jay comes from the other side of the ring, and she mule kicks the girl. Wow, the game is down to 67-66, 20 seconds to go. Quick run by Houston, but now they're fouling to play the foul game. Duke with 20 gets the foul shot with 20.3 on the clock. We'll find. I'm watching that as well. But going back into the wrestling segment, so she about to put her in her finishing move. The security guards come and stop that. So Nick Aldis comes out and say, "Listen, man, I'm sick of this. This is what's gonna happen. Jade, you gonna fight Naomi in a match. But this man, he missed both. Oh, we got a timeout. Oh no, do we got a foul? We got a foul. We got a foul. I think they're shooting. Houston got fouled. Houston got fouled. Is the foul on Cooper Flag? Oh, it's on Cooper Flag. Oh, controversial call. That probably will be spoken about. But Houston's at the foul line. Are they shooting 1-and-1s? Yes, they are. They're shooting 1-and-1s. I'm going to finish that story in a minute. Y'all bear with me. I'm also, like I told you, I'm watching the basketball game as well to see who's going to the championship game on Monday. They're shooting 1-and-1s with a 63% free throw shooter for the Houston Cougars. First shot, he made it. The score is tied, 67 apiece. Everybody's excited. This is what the NCAA do. They got all they schools and alma maters and kids and parents. They all running amok. I would turn it up, but I'm scared they're gonna censor me if I do. So y'all bear with me. Second shot is good. 68-67 Houston, 19.6 seconds. They inbound the ball. Duke inbounds the ball. Clock runs now. They call timeout right after half court. 17.2 seconds. The Cougars is on a 13-3 run to get the 1 point lead. And as always in these NCAA tournament, the student alumni are going crazy. Duke is telling everybody to calm down. Houston telling themselves to calm down. They got to get a stop. Duke know they need a score. We're going to see if Cooper Flag is the guy right now. But in this timeout, let me finish the story. So Nick Aldis said, Jade, you're going to fight Bianca. Excuse me. You're going to fight Naomi. That match is going to take place at WrestleMania, right? Also, so that's the end of that segment. But now I have a side note, right? We also got an announcement that there's going to be a gauntlet of WWE women's tag team matches, and the winner of the tournament is going to fight Raquel and Liv Morgan at WrestleMania. So that's realist what's going on. So that's going to be from probably Monday and Friday all the way up to the week before. Well, probably this week and next week. Well, Monday and Friday, because the next weekend will be WrestleMania weekend. So it may be Monday. I'm not sure, but there's going to be a tournament for the women's tag team. The winners of the tournament is going to fight Liv and Raquel at WrestleMania. So we also just found out that Naomi's going to fight Jade at WrestleMania as well. Hold on, y'all. I'm over here looking at this fight. I'm also got some news about the Kevin Owens and Randy Orton match. Right? Okay, Duke's about to inbound the ball. They get it. Time running down. Cooper Flag got the ball. He's driving. Back posting up. Fadeaway shot. Short. Oh, rebound. Houston. They got a foul. They foul with 2-3 seconds to go. Houston will be going to the free throw line. Cooper Flag was short on his shot. He had a good look, but he just came up short. LJ Cry is going to the foul line. They think it's automatic because he's a 92% free throw shooter. Cooper Flag was just short. They're showing the replay. Had a good look, no foul, no nothing. He was just short on his shot. So Nick Aldis and Kevin Owens came out to the ring also on SmackDown to announce that Kevin Owens will not be participating in WrestleMania because he has a neck injury that has to have surgery on it, and so because of that, he won't be wrestling. So now that he ain't gonna wrestle, Randy Orton came out and he looked upset, like I ain't gonna have no match. Uh, so Nick Aldis said, "Yo, because Kevin Owens is not going to be there, you ain't going to be fighting in WrestleMania." And he RKO'd him. He RKO'd Nick Aldis. That was funny because I was thinking about when he gave the man an extra 50,000 for RKO because he was fined for hitting Nick Aldis. Was that last year or 2 years ago with an RKO? He said, "Yo, the fine was 50,000. You go to check for 100,000." He said, "Yo, just 100,000." He said, "Oh no, there's another. There's gonna be another fine." And that was, I'm presuming that's the other fine, which is crazy. Oh, they changed it. Okay, so no, they changed the clock back to 3.7 seconds as Houston goes to the line. I believe they're shooting 2 foul shots now. But they're in the double bonus. The double bonus is 10 fouls. You get 2 shots. But like I said, they think this young man, LJ Cry, is going to make 2 foul shots. He made the first. So it's 69-67. Does Duke have any timeouts? I don't know. I can't see. We're gonna find out if they're gonna call a timeout or well, let's wait for the second shot first. The second shot is good. 3-point game. They're going to take it out full court. You run in the sideline. There's a pass. The pass is interrupted. There's a shot at the buzzer. It's no good. Houston defeats Duke and advances to the NCAA championship game as they defeated Duke 70-67. Congratulations to the Cougars. We see Kelvin Sampson making his appearance to the championship game. They defeated Duke and Cooper Flag. Don't hold your head down, young man. If you're one and done, you'll be heading to the NBA. But this is the third time the Cougars have been to the championship, but it's been a while. I think the last time they went to the championship was with Akeem Olajuwon. And yeah, Akeem Olajuwon and Patrick Ewing. That's the last time the Cougars been there. Akeem Olajuwon, Clyde Drexler, all those guys. But okay, but now back to the wrestling, right? Now we had one more match, and this match was a last man standing match. Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman. Now this match right here was something. This was like very brutal because y'all know Jacob. You know Jacob think he's a beast. We know Braun is called the monster among men. Let me just say this: they put that work in tables all over the place, going through the barriers. Braun doing the locomotive run around the ring and putting them through the ring, the barriers and stuff like that. They being slammed on the TV announce tables. Jacob hitting them with all of these things, but the final blow, right, was Jacob putting him through a table in the corner, and they both struggling to get up. It looked like Rocky 2. If you didn't see Rocky, if you saw Rocky 2, you know everybody was struggling to get up before the 10 count. Braun got up at 10, but it was too late. Jacob was already up, so Jacob wins the match, and he will be fighting LA Knight. I believe at WrestleMania. And then then he'll be fighting him at WrestleMania. So that's that. And then we get to the final segment of the night. Roman comes out like, "Yo, CM Punk, just get your ass down here. I don't even want to talk about it." So see, he called CM Punk out. Here comes Seth. Seth talking like, "Yo, you ain't gonna learn. I gotta always clean up your mess. I'm telling you, this ain't gonna be right. This is your fault. And I want to hear what this announcement is too. I'm gonna stand right here and hear what he got to say too." So here comes CM Punk. CM Punk, he comes out there and he tells him a little story. He says, a long time ago, I actually seen this segment though. A long time ago, Paul, you told me, I made it about me, but you told me, that you was my best friend and you loved me, and I will walk to the ring with you when I main event WrestleMania. And Paul looks like, oh shit, I did tell this dude that. I think this was around 2014, 2015, about 10 years ago, or right before he left. And, this was at a time when Paul Heyman was trying to get back in the corner with CM Punk, but CM Punk was like, I ain't fucking with you right now. And so he said that, and Roman started laughing, like, wait a minute, that was the promise? Roman said, yo, I made this man relevant again. Wise man, tell this man you ain't doing that. Paul's looking like he's looking down, like, like he's shocked that he remembered it, but he's disappointed that he remembered it, right? So he said, I can't do that, my tribal chief. And Roman's like, what you mean you can't do that? I'm gonna give you a shot to do this. Go ahead and tell him. Just tell him you ain't doing it. It's like, nah, I can't do this, my tribal chief. The man, Paul Heyman, he crying and stuff. Roman gets the handkerchief and start wiping his face. CM Punk jumped him, and he put him to go to sleep. But before that, he said, "I'm gonna do something that you ain't gonna like, Roman. I'm gonna make you come out your comfort zone to face us, because that was the promise." You know what I'm saying? And Roman's like, "Oh shit, this is what we're gonna do." So that is what ended SmackDown. We saw Roman Reigns go to sleep. CM Punk looked at Seth. Seth just looking like, that's he like, I told you so. I told you he gonna do something to get back at you, and that's what it was. He rolled up out the ring, and that's why I said, the segment, the things that they do on SmackDown is so much entertaining than what they do on Raw, and it's just like the action, the crowd, everything is like it's just more. It's it's more realistic, right? You know what I mean? Like I could see two females being petty like that. Like, yo, that's why you're man in my DMs, and that's why you like you trash. You look at you can't even hold a marriage. You want to hold the belt type scenario. Like, you want to hold a championship, but you can't hold a marriage. Girls really do that. We all know, we all seen things like that. Whether it's on here, whether it's in real life, but on social media especially, they do those type of things. So for me, it's like, okay, we see this, and now it's coming through in the entertainment world when when the girls is doing that. We see girls get jealous of another girl and tell their homegirl, I'm doing this for you. I'm fighting this girl for you. She's stealing my joy. She came and tried to take my place, and this, that, and the third. We may see it in some men, but I'm talking about this because this is a particular story in on SmackDown, right? That's what made Naomi become, you know, Rogue Naomi. Now she wearing caution things. Now she the villain. And shout out to Naomi, because she's doing a hell of a job. Like, even after they announced the match, she made a smile that looked so demonish, but it looked cute because she's cute. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, God damn, you made that evil look so cute and adorable. You know what I'm saying? But she's playing that role like, and we know we've never seen Naomi like this before, right? We know, if you watch wrestling back in the days when she's with Tamina and things like that, that was the bloodline before the bloodline. Whether y'all understand that segment or not, right? Because we know Tamina is of that clan, Superfly, Snooker, and all of those guys, right? Yeah, she is, man. A little milk chocolate self, and she's smiling. And whew, now that she got the curly hair, she looking all cute and adorable. And Jade is looking like Jade. You know what I'm saying? But we know that they do things like that. That's the point, right? We know girls get upset if one girl spend more time with another girl, and then they feel like they being pushed out of the way and things like that. We see the implosion of Solo's bloodline. And I already know if Jacob wins the belt, he gonna challenge that. He's the leader of the bloodline. I don't know. Well, I don't know how that's gonna affect Roman and them, but it probably will, right? But we see that there's clashes like that in real life, right? Whether it's family, whether it's whoever it is, we know these things exist. And on SmackDown, it's just so realistic that you can see yourself in a situation like that because most of us have gone through those situations. We feel like somebody trying to play in our face. We feel like somebody trying to come in and destroy what you have already made, right? And they wait for you to step out and then try to come and conquer the things that you've already created, i.e., the bloodline, Solo's bloodline, because he stepped away and left these guys all by themselves. They had to go rogue for themselves. They running rampant on SmackDown. We know people that do things like that, and that's why I said, I love the fact that they doing that. I love the fact that they put this into an everyday situation, and like I said, most of us that are here and is going to hear this later on can relate to things like that, right? Then you got people that say they was best friends, and then your best friend turned on you for whatever reason. If it's a gain an advantage to get an upper hand or win a higher role on somebody, and then they just black out and just say fuck everybody and start putting their friends in danger, as Kevin Owens did. He untore. We ain't even see Sammy since that situation, right? Randy came back from his low power driver situation, madder than before. Like it's on site. I can't trust this dude no more. It's on site, right? That's why I never liked this dude in the first place. We know we seen that type of stuff on especially on here. I can't rock with dude because dude's ABC. He sometimes he this, he's that, right? So when you go through those situations, and then you see it on like, yo, that could be me. That could be somebody I know, right? And the fact that SmackDown does that, it makes it like, yo, it can relate to a bunch of us. Now, when you look at Raw, right? We see Raw. We got Jay. Everybody loves Jay. But then we got this dude trying to snuff. We got Gunther trying to snuff out Jay. We got the War Raiders ain't fighting nobody. They fight, once in a blue moon. We got another dude, Chad Gable. He camouflaging himself to be a luchador, to try to eliminate the luchador. That happens in real life, like people blend in and try to take, it's not, well, I'm not going to compare it to snitching. But we know people trying to infiltrate something to gain an upper hand, even with that, right? You got Lyra Lycurious. You got people. She's a up and coming star in Raw, and now she got people chasing her because she's new and the OGs is feeling disrespected, right? But it's not the same. It's not the same action as SmackDown, right? It's like, okay, Lara Lycurious, she'll fight this one, she'll fight somebody like this, she'll fight somebody like that. You know what I mean? It's just different. So for me, it's just more energetic on SmackDown than it is Raw. They do more talking on Raw instead of having matches. SmackDown, they have matches and then add the talks, but the talks just be with the people that matter, right? You have the talks with Roman Reigns. You have the talks with Street Profits. You get into the tag champs. All right. Y'all gotta fight us. All right. We see y'all when y'all get there. When y'all get there, we can handle our business. Right. You got the conversations with Seth. You got the conversations with Punk. You got the action behind the scenes with Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. They see each other's on site. Like, I don't like you, you don't like me, right? You stole something, you stole my opportunity, and now it's on site. Like I said, it's just more action and it's more relatable because a lot of us have been through this type of situation. A lot of us have seen things like that, right? So we can say, you know what, that's cool. We see We see on Raw though, we got Commander, what up, Nine? We see Jay going through, he fighting these little matches, trying to build momentum. And every time he builds momentum, Gunther snuffs him out. Like last week, he beats up his brother, ties him up, and make him watch me beat your brother up. Now, I've seen some things in life, not about a brother thing. I've seen people get tied up and hey, watch what I do to your peoples and home invasion and things like that. Not to say it's a home invasion on TV because that's my twin. You know what I mean? That's what happened with Jimmy. That's my twin, and I got to sit there and watch this with my hand tied. You can't do nothing. He beat that man so bad though. He made him bleed, and Gunther was eating his blood like he was like he was like he was a vampire type thing. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, when you've been around, you see those type of things. It's like, dang, right? Like, yo, damn, this nigga, he tripping. He over here licking blood and fascinated and all of that. Like, he's super tripping with that, right? But you know, that's the only thing that looked real as far as, Raw. But that, that's the action that I'm talking about. When you have that, yeah, it's the Attitude Era vibes on SmackDown. You know what I mean? You got Jacob doing what he do best. He's sitting there, he chopping this giant down. He destroying Braun Breaker. Not Braun Breaker, Braun Strowman. He's a monster. So what do you call what do you call a man that chops down the monster? What do you call him? You can't call him a werewolf. A werewolf ain't beating up no monster. But that's his nickname, the small werewolf. That man is beating this man to death. He already told Solo, I'm gonna get this belt. I'm bringing it home to the family. I'm gonna do this without you. I mean, with you. He looked at Tom, and that's what I'm saying. He looked at Tom like, I'm gonna do this with you, and he looked at Solo and said, I'm gonna do this without you. I mean. I said, yo, he just flipped it. You know what I mean? To the I mean. I'm like, okay. Good. You know what I mean? Like we do things like that. We make our own languages. We talk our talks, right? And we go out there and try to back it up the best way we can. And we telling people like, yo, you either gonna rock with me or you ain't rocking with me at all. Whatever you do, you better make it up because I'm gonna do what I need to do. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing that makes it real to people like me, because being a part of life, seeing things in life, you could like, yo, I've seen this look before. I seen when that person is determined to go ahead and get that spot, determined to win that block, or determined to win that game, right? It's a thing that they hype themselves up with, right? And to me, that's something called, you're trying to give yourself the momentum, the energy, the juice to go ahead and persevere and do a thing, right? I'm gonna talk about momentum a little bit more because now that these tournaments is coming to a close, and we got national championships starting tomorrow for the women's game, and now Monday for the men's game. But we're also looking at the playoffs, right? But anyway, when you go about that situation, when you're trying to pump yourself up, you're trying to get yourself ready for these big matches. It just looked like even if Jacob goes through a situation, he's gonna fight through the pain and the hurt to get to where they need to go. Like I listen, man. I went through a table, I went through a barrier, but I'm still determined to get this number one spot to fight for the champion, to fight LA Knight for the U.S. belt. Right? You got Roman now. Roman got to go through psychological battle. Like, yo, my wise man is leaving me now. How am I going to adjust to this? I got 2 weeks to figure this out, and he put me to sleep. Nah, I got to figure that out. Right? He ain't gonna come with guns a blazing as in American inner city situations, technically, pulling out the gun and shooting things like that. Nah, he ain't gonna do that. But he gonna be hot going in there. And what's Seth gonna do? Is Seth gonna just sit back and if they gonna attack Roman, or is he gonna attack Punk? What they gonna do? All of these things is real life situations. You got to worry about those things in life. Somebody trying to steal your job, somebody trying to take your hours. I got to make that adjustment. I can't jump on the boss like that. but I'm definitely plotting on this dude that's trying to steal my spot at work, or this chick that's trying to steal my spot at work, right? So you got to go through those adjustments. You got to make sure that you go prepared when you go to the job, and make sure you don't lose your cool and you paying attention and all of that other stuff. That's what makes that's what makes SmackDown real to me. That's what makes it like, yo, you really got to think about things like that. You know what I mean? But I mean, don't get me wrong, Raw, they have the same storytelling, but it's not the action that you would expect it to be, right? Like you got you got the number one contender fighting a bunch of nobodies and then getting beat up, right? Even with Cody and John Cena, they beefing like, yo, I'm gonna beat John Cena. This new John Cena, I'm gonna bury this nigga. I'm gonna make that nigga retire quick. And when he retire, you retire. You gonna leave the same way you leave in the ring right now, a loser. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the comment. Like y'all, if y'all watch Raw Monday, y'all tell me if I'm imagining the conversation. If I'm not, if I'm incorrect, we can have that conversation on Monday, right? We can sit there and say, I didn't see, I don't look at it the way you look at it, and I'm cool with it. I just want you to tell me, if the momentum is there, if you feel the energy, if you like, even when it was international, they had the energy, but the energy was, they singing songs to Roman Reigns, and they were singing so that same song from wherever what was they in England? They sung the same song in Chicago. Roman Reigns, they singing Roman Reigns, like they just singing his name. You ain't hear none of that, and let's see if they do that in wherever they're gonna be on Monday. They're gonna be in the States. It's gonna be back at its regular time. And ain't gonna be no early shows. They back in the States, right? Let's see if they do what they did for them in England and Italy and France. Let's see if they got that same energy. Let's see if that momentum picks up. And if it doesn't, just watch the actual show. See if you feel the excitement as you did Friday. See if you see the same movement on Monday as it is Friday. I've been saying this since they got on Netflix, right? It's not because I dislike the show. No, I watch wrestling, right? And I could tell you this. Sometimes I could watch Raw, and there's more excitement on NXT than it is on Raw. This is why, for me, I say, you know what? I don't know if Raw is going to last on Netflix. Even though, shout out to my 33 brother. He said he looked it up, and he said, Raw is getting more views than SmackDown, and that may be possible. But I just don't like the action on Raw because they do more talking than fighting, and this is supposed to be about wrestling and not the conversation. Tell a story in the ring. Don't tell a story. Tell a story by action, not through verbal conversation. That's what it seemed like on Raw. But when you get to SmackDown, they had the conversation after the match. Like, yo, I had to, man, I'm gonna beat his ass, and y'all jumping in my match. Don't do that shit no more. Know what I mean? Like, don't do that shit. Y'all ain't helping me. Y'all going off skit. Like, y'all doing things I wouldn't do for y'all. But I'm gonna win this thing, and I'm gonna do this, that, and the third, right? It's just different, right? We understand that the champion don't fight on Raw or SmackDown. We understand that, right? But on Raw, he over there trying to choke the man out all day long, and on SmackDown, they just like, all right, John Cena ain't had a match. He ain't had a match to prepare since he last won the Elimination Chamber. He ain't had a match yet. He just sitting there talking. Rock disappears. He just talking. Cody talking. Cody ain't had a match. As far as I can recall, he ain't had no match either. Right? He just talking, but they talking to each other like, yo, I'm gonna punish you. And John Cena, I guess they trying to say he don't got to fight because he's already the contender. But what happened to the match that gets you ready for the match, right? They got Jay wrestling damn near every week. Jay wrestling every week. Gunther's fighting people like Tozawa and Otis. I don't know how you can gain momentum with that. I don't know how you gain it because you fighting people that's so beneath you. It's not even challenging to you. How do you fight a weak person and then say I'm ready to fight for the world championship by fighting weak people? That's like you sparring with a cruiserweight and you a heavyweight. How does that work? And that's what I'm saying. Like when you look at things like that, I mean, I'm just excited to get to WrestleMania. Don't get me wrong, right? I'm just saying, how could you gain the readiness if you fighting somebody that's so beneath you? That's like an adult fight wrestling a child and just say, I'm ready to take on that grown man. You just whip the child. You know, I'm using that as an analogy, not literally, but you know what I mean? It's just out of your league, way out your league. But you think you gaining a momentum with it. And I don't see how that's possible. So, and that's the way they want you to believe that this guy is gonna win. Uh I really can't. I don't see how. But like I said, that's the difference for me between the two shows. You know what I mean? Like, okay, cool. Like I said, you got the War Raiders on Raw. They ain't. I don't think they fought in 2 weeks. You see, Street Profits, they fighting now. They getting number one contenders. We don't even know who the number one contender is on Raw. Is it the New Day? I mean, the New Day's crying about you know a number one spot, but are they the number one contenders? You see what I'm saying? Will they get that by default? Will they announce that coming Monday? We already know the women have a tournament for the tag belts, but they ain't said nothing about the men tag belt. We know the Street Profits are gonna fight. Oh, I believe they're gonna fight Motor City Machine Gun. Right? They have a segment open because Kevin Owens just announced he ain't wrestling at WrestleMania. Or is that a hoax? Is that to get Randy all psyched out to gain the advantage? We don't know. It sounded authentic. He left the ring like it was authentic. You know what I mean? Is that story true, or is that something to where Randy comes out and Kevin Owens jumps on him next week? I don't know. But even if that's it, we know that's a sneak attack. You know what I mean? Now, if that's true, we hope Kevin Owens get well, and he rests up and becomes the old KO. We don't know what he's gonna become, but we just hope that neck injury is not permanent to where it officially retires him. We don't want to see him in a Big E moment. We don't want to see him in a, a edge situation where he got to take years off and then want to come back. He said he's been fighting for over 20 years. We know when you get a certain age, it takes you longer to heal. He's not Wolverine. He's a older man. A neck injury may take you 6 to 8 months, maybe a year. You see, Big E ain't fought yet. That New Day said, we ain't fucking with you, dog. You've been gone for a minute. Matter of fact, they clowned him like you should have been like Edge. You should have been like this one with the neck injury. Come right back. See what I'm saying? That they throwing subliminals on wrestling. Like, yo, you ain't shit. You trash. You should have been like this dude. You should have popped up like the Undertaker or whatever they said, right? But they just have a difference of a situation when it comes to Raw and SmackDown. It's like it's like day and night. So I just think that is different. It's a different energy on Raw than it is on SmackDown, right? I was just talking about momentum and things like that. In life we need momentum, right? Some of us need that momentum to push ourselves to get to a better position in life, right? Whether it's a raise, whether it's uh the game to start your business. You need that energy to go forward. You need that momentum. The momentum is the energy that's flowing in your favor. That's how I look at it, right? If you give me, I'll give you the real definition. But I'm talking about in the world of sports. That's what momentum is. Momentum is something that goes in your favor, and if it's going against you, you got to fight twice as hard to stop the momentum, and then even harder to make the momentum come in your favor. You gotta, it's your effort that makes the momentum come in your way, right? Like if we like, like sometimes you gotta have the strength and the energy to say, you know what, I need to make this content, right? If we thinking about it in content form, right? And then you start getting people with the likes and the subscribers, and your subscribers is growing, right? Now you got to keep that momentum going because it's understandable people are liking what you're doing, right? People are liking the energy that you're putting out there. So too, that's how it is in sports. In sports is all right. You got the energy to where you getting the things going your way. You getting that jump shot to go, and you getting the score in a rate to where the other team got to be defensive, and then you stopping them from scoring. You getting base hits. You getting base hits 3 out of 4 times every day to make your batting average go up. You got the momentum where every time you touch the football, you going down the field to score a touchdown. That's what momentum is, right? The momentum is the energy, the flow of a thing that goes in your favor, right? And if you understand and if you see that the momentum is not going your way, this is how they do it. They call timeout, and then they try to devise a way to slow that momentum down. If and then after you slow it down, how could we make it work for us? If we steal the ball, we can go ahead and get a dunk in basketball. If we get an interception, we score. That's called a pick six, right? If we get out of a bases loaded jam with no run score, we killed their momentum. That's how you defend the momentum. And then when it works for us, if you got people like on YouTube, if you got somebody that's trolling you, you continue to do what you do, and they're 9 times out of 10, they may go away. Why? Because nobody's supporting their foolishness and understand that the things that you're doing is for the right reasons. They can't slow down your momentum, right? And that's how it is in everyday life. Because you got somebody want to report you to HR. You can report me to HR all you want. As long as I'm doing the right thing, they ain't got no reason to look at me or fire me. Because I ain't do nothing to have HR look at me. Shout out to our HR. Commander, don't try to fire me either. But anyway, you know what I mean? Like that's just that's what momentum do. Momentum is what gives you, like, sometimes your momentum just gives you the extra energy to go ahead and continue to go forward. Right? If you run in a race, the momentum is that you pace yourself well enough, and then you see that finish line, you gain the extra strength, you gain the extra momentum to finish it. When you hear the people cheering for you, they give you the momentum to keep going. Right? If you look at the New York City Marathon, there's people throughout the entire 26 miles cheering you on, right? They go from one borough to the next. They go from Staten Island to Brooklyn, from Brooklyn to Manhattan. I mean, from Brooklyn to Queens, from Queens to Manhattan, from Manhattan to the Bronx, and back to Manhattan. There's people throughout all the boroughs cheering you on. There's people on a bridge. That's what New York City Marathon starts at. There's people on the bridge cheering you on as soon as you start. You get to the other side of Brooklyn, they cheering you on. You running through Bay Ridge, they cheering you on. Right? You running through Williamsboro, they cheering you on. You running through Greenpoint, they cheering you on. You get to Long Island City, they cheering you on. You run across did they run across? Yeah, I think they run across the 59th Street Bridge. They cheer you on. You run on the east side of Central Park. They cheer you on. You get to 138th Street in the Bronx. They cheering you on. Then you run back over the 3rd Avenue Bridge. They cheering you on. Now you get to Central Park West. They cheering you on all the way till you get to the end of the Central Park, where the finish line is at. They cheering you on. That gives you the momentum to say, yo, there's people looking for me to finish this race. There's people expecting me to win this race. That's the momentum that we need. And that's the momentum that we try to give everybody here. Like the guys that's here now, y'all giving me the momentum to say, you know what? Y'all forgive me if I stumble. Y'all forgiving me if I don't show up yesterday, right? Because I didn't keep up with the weekly schedule. But the people that's here now, they cheering me on, and I truly it humbles me, and I appreciate that. But that's the momentum that we need. We need to tell each other we can get through this thing. And for me, that's it all. I learned this through sports. Like I said, that's a marathon. That's a sport. You learn that in basketball. That's a sport. You learn that in football. That's a sport. All of these sports is making you see that the momentum can carry you to your victory, to your finish line, to your goal. And even like I said, even though I didn't do what I needed to do yesterday, I take full responsibility. But for those of you that's here, you know, y'all cheering me on, and I appreciate that. And those of you that may come through the replay segment, I appreciate that. But that's the momentum that we all need going forward. You know what I mean? We train ourselves, we get ourselves ready for difficulties and hurdles and things like that. But as long as somebody's there to cheer you on, you know what I mean? You can get through the tiredness, you can get through the pain, you can get through those type of things. Like I said, when these guys are getting thrown through tables and barriers and they cheering their name, and when you hear people singing songs in your name, that gives you the energy to say, "Yo, I can get through this. I could win this match, or we can stop this. We can stop this team from scoring. We could win the football game. Or I could block the shot, and we could save the game in a basketball game. Or I could strike this guy out and end this bases loaded situation." That's baseball, but that's the momentum that we need. That's the energy that we need. Sometimes the coach will call timeout, say, "Yo, guys, we can do this. Let's get this one stop. Let's slow their momentum down. Let's take it from them and make them feel weak. And if we take their momentum, we gain the strength." That's how sports show me what momentum is, and that's how I try to bring it to everyday life. Right? If you bring that to everyday life, you can see that it works in your favor. But you gotta understand what the energy is for you to do to get the momentum in the first place. And a lot of the times, we think sports don't relate to life, but it does. This is one way it does, in my opinion. Now maybe I'm wrong, or maybe I'm stretching or reaching, but if you really look at it, something got to get you up to start your day, right? Something got to get you to get through the day, right? You think it's just because you got it, because everybody thinks they got it, but there's days that you don't got it. What is the momentum that's getting you through the day? What's the momentum that's getting you through that difficult day when you at work and you don't feel like being there, right? Some people might say it's the momentum of getting paid. Okay, if that's what you want to call it, I bet you get through the day. I bet you won't say I'm calling out sick. You ain't got that PTO. You got to deal with that unruly boss. But the momentum is to get paid. That's the momentum, right? But you got to understand, I'm relating this from sports to real life because it's a real life situation. Even through entertainment, there's life lessons. Even through the sporting event, there's life lessons. And that's why I'm saying, like I said tonight, when you look at Raw or you look at SmackDown, you can say, "Hey, I know somebody that went through that. I know somebody that's gone through that." I'm watching this basketball game tonight. Duke was up by 10 points, but Houston got the momentum to go on a 13-3 run. They slowed them down and they got the victory. And now they're going to play for the national championship. So there's a bunch of 18 to 22-year-old kids that understand momentum. Why? Because that's what the coach is teaching them about. If the 18 to 22-year-olds know it, that means we supposed to know it as well. Us above 22, us that's above 30, that's pushing 30, those that is above 30, those that's pushing 40, those that's above 40. It's about momentum, and how do you gain it, and how do you maintain it, and how do you not get it taken away from you? And if you don't got it, how do you gain it for yourself? You got to know how to gain those momentum. Now, I'm sorry if I'm sounding like the alter ego. I'm just trying to put two and two together, but that's just who I am. I'm just explaining how sports and life can come together. You know what I mean? So you just got to understand what momentum does and how it works in your life, just like how these guys do it in the world of sports, right? If you can do that 9 times out of 10, I promise you can become a winner. Excuse me, because we already know if you don't got to if you quit, you can't win. And winners don't quit. That's what momentum do. Winning shows you that your momentum can get you through that. Quitting doesn't. Being a victim doesn't. You being a on a losing streak, there is the momentum is against you, not with you. Only when you gain the momentum, you can go on that winning streak. Hey, we won 4 in a row. We won 5 in a row. Hey, we won 10 in a row. Hey, we winning every day. Why? Because that momentum is with you. Why? You feel like you got everything you need to get through the situation. All right, I can go to work. Hey, I got 102 fever, but I'm gonna get through the day. Why? Because I know I got that momentum with me. Hey, I tweaked my ankle. I feel like I can't walk. I can't get on. I can't walk to work. But that momentum telling you, listen, we're gonna get through this. We're gonna soak our ankle when we get home from work. You know what I mean? That's what momentum do to for us. That's what momentum does for us. It give us that boost, that energy to say we can get through this situation one way or another. And that's the best way. That's the best way to describe momentum. And I just want you guys to know that momentum can get you to your victory, to your finish line. You just gotta know how to. You gotta know what it is. You gotta know how to maintain it. And if you don't know what it is, you gotta seek how to gain it if you don't have it in the first place. So all of those things takes the steps. You gotta know what the steps is. If you want to call it whatever you want, right? You might call it energy. You might call it a coincidence or whatever you're gonna do. But if it's allowing you to win, call it the win. Call it the victory. Call it. I passed the test. Right? It gave you the strength to do all of those things. So my best advice is to let the wave of momentum get you to your victory, whether it's in sports or whether it's in real life. I thank you guys for coming through tonight. I'm gonna ride this momentum and get back to the regular scheduled program on Monday. As far as like I said, tonight we know that Houston and Florida is going to play Monday night. And I don't want to sound prejudiced. I'm going with Houston to win Monday night because they may be over by the time I come back on at 11:30. I think Houston's going to win. I'm going with them on the strength of Kelvin Sampson. Kelvin Sampson is a longtime coach. I ain't afraid to say it. I just like when the African American coach or the person of color wins, right? It allows us. It gives us the idea that hey, we can win at anything, whether it's sports or whatever. One of our own. Let's just say it like that. Doesn't mean I'm racist. Doesn't mean anything like that. I just like the fact that there's an example of a black champion somewhere, right? I just believe that gives us the strength and the energy to, hey, we can do that. Like when Russell Wilson won the Super Bowl, I'm like, yo, he showed that we can do it. We still can do it. Or when Lovie Smith won the Super Bowl and Tony Dungy won the Super Bowl. Yeah, Tony Dungy. Lovie Smith lost. He lost to Tony Dungy because there was 2 black coaches in the Super Bowl. One for the Chicago Bears and one for the Indianapolis Colts. One had Peyton Manning, that's Tony Dungy, and the other one didn't. But the fact that he won it allows us to know, hey, we had a head coach that got us to the championship. Because before that, Tony Dungy coached the Tampa Bay Bucks, and then he got fired. And what's the guy's name? The coach that came in after the coach that came, I can't remember his name right now. Y'all know who I'm talking about. He just left. He just got fired from the Raiders. He was an NFL analyst. Oh my God, it's right there. But anyway, the guy that came after Tony Dungy, he won the Super Bowl with everything that he built, right? Just like if you look at the NBA, Mark Jackson built the Golden State Warriors. He had Klay Thompson. He had Steph Curry. He had Draymond Green. He gave them the green light to shoot the way that they shoot. And other than that, they was playing inside out basketball. But what happened? Something got Mark Jackson relieved of his duties, and Steve Kerr gets all the credit for what happened with Golden State. Steve Kerr gets the credit for making Steph Curry who he is. That's not who did it though. We know that Mark Jackson had a big hand in that. Mark Jackson had a talented guy named Monte Ellis. He let them go because he believed in Steph Curry. He let him go because he believed in Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond. He believed in those guys. He just ain't get to the finish line with them. But he gave them the momentum to keep going, and somebody just took it and ran with it. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. That's what happened with momentum. If you get put out the way, sometimes the momentum is strong to keep going. You just won't get the credit for it. Now they saying Steve Kerr is a great coach. Now he wasn't a great coach when they was losing, but now he's a great coach because he has Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, and then Kevin Durant, right? So I'm just trying to show y'all that's what happens when you have that momentum. But you know what I mean. But I'm going for the Kelvin Sampson and the Houston Cougars for that reason alone. Now Florida plays great basketball and things like that, but I'm just going for that. And on the women's side, we got Dawn Staley and the South Carolina Gamecock trying to repeat, but they going against the OG, the University of Connecticut, and Gina Auriemma. Gina Auriemma is 11-1 in championship game, but Dawn Staley is she's been winning. She's been winning these championships the past few years, right? I'm going with Dawn Staley, but I know it's going to be. I know that game is going to be great. You know, they got all Americans. They got Paige Beckers on Connecticut. They got Ozzie Fudge on Connecticut. You know, Connecticut. I mean, South Carolina don't have that name that they used to have. They don't have Asia Wilson. They don't have Aaliyah Boston. Right? They don't have that name power as Connecticut do. But sometimes it just comes down to knowing the game. And if there's one person I know knows the game, it's Dawn Staley. She played it. She played it internationally. She played it in the WNBA. She played it at top brass, right? And now she's coaching it at top brass. Like I said, there would be no Asia Wilson. I don't think there'd be an Asia Wilson without Dawn Staley. I don't think there'd be an Aaliyah Boston without Dawn Staley. Now, if you look at Gino Auriemma, he coached Maya Moore, Diana Taurasi, Rebecca Lobo, Kara Walters, the Kia Sales, Swin Cash. He coached a lot of them. That's why he's the greatest winning coach in basketball, college basketball, right? But I just think sometimes you can think it as a player better than you can you can think it as a player better than you can as a coach, and a woman coach at that, because she has that experience. So I'm cheering for Dawn Staley. I want South Carolina to win. I just think that game is going to be closer than what we think. And if it ain't, whoever wins that, I'm really not going to be upset. I'm not going to be upset about any of the games. I just think that, you know, I'm just proud if they can do what they need to do. And speaking of Maya Moore, congratulations to Maya Moore, Dwight Howard, Sue Bird, Carmelo Anthony, Sylvia Fowle, Billy Donovan, Mickey Harrison. They all been voted to the 2025 Hall of Fame. Congratulations to them. You know, Melo, he's a former Knick. Like I said, Maya Moore, she was NCAA champion, and she won quite a few championships for the Minnesota Lynx in the WNBA. She retired to become a legal activist, and got married to somebody that she had gotten free from prison. So congratulations to her. Congratulations to all of those that was nominated. But a special congratulation goes to those that has gained the entrance into the Basketball Hall of Fame. And the Basketball Hall of Fame is not just about your professional, but your college career as well. So congratulations to all of those people that made it. You know, but with that being said, I'll be back Monday. I'll be back Monday to tell you about the championship games, both men and women, as well as what happened on SmackDown. I'm expecting some more matches to be announced for WrestleMania, as well as the start, as I believe the start of the women's tag team tournament will begin Monday. We probably hear more about the New Day or the men's tag team title for Raw. I don't know. Street Profits and SmackDown. The men's SmackDown champion. I mean, the men's tag team champions for Raw. We may hear an announcement about that. I'm going with the New Day because they doing a lot of winning lately, even as the villains. So they may get a shot at in I almost said the Super Bowl of wrestling, which is WrestleMania. They may get that going, but we'll have that conversation Monday. We'll review that Monday. As well, like I said, as well as the college champions, the college basketball championship for men and women. So with that being said, I appreciate everybody coming through. I'll see you guys Monday night. With that, I'm out.